Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, as reported at Legacy.com in the fourth week of April 2025. Legacy.com is where you can find any obituary or publish an obituary in any local community in America and beyond. Actress and singer Lulu Roman died April 23, 2025, in Bellingham, Washington, at the age of 78. She was one of the stars of the classic variety show Hee Haw, where her regular characters included the owner of a Greasy Spoon diner and one of the Culheens of Cornfield County. Roman is also being remembered for her later career as a gospel singer. She was inducted into the Country Gospel Music Hall of Fame. Basketball player Dick Barnett died April 27, 2025, in Largo, Florida, at the age of 88. He played for the New York Knicks in the 1960s and 70s, winning championships with them in 1970 and 1973. He was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame just last year. Barnett is being remembered for his distinctive jump shot, which earned him the nickname Fallback Baby. Actress Lar Park Lincoln died April 22, 2025, after fighting breast cancer at the age of 63. She became a scream queen when she starred in 1987's Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Park Lincoln is also being remembered for her role as Linda Fairgate on the primetime soap opera Knots Landing. Drag performer Bianca Castro Arabejo, better known by her stage name Jiggly Caliente, died April 27, 2025, after a leg amputation following a severe infection at the age of 44. She was a contestant on the fourth season of RuPaul's Drag Race and later returned for RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars. Caliente is also being remembered for playing Veronica Ferocity on the TV series Pose. Musician David Briggs died April 22, 2025, in Nashville, Tennessee. He died of renal cancer at the age of 82. He was a session musician who profoundly influenced the Nashville sound as he played on records by Dolly Parton, Conway Twitty, and many more, and he was a member of Elvis Presley's TCB band. Briggs is also being remembered for his earlier session work in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. He helped put the town on the map as a top destination for rock and R&B artists to record. Actor Philip Lowrie died April 25, 2025, at the age of 88. He was one of the original stars of the UK soap opera Coronation Street, playing Dennis Tanner when the show debuted in 1960. Lowrie is being remembered for returning to Coronation Street in 2011 after having left the show in 1968, setting a Guinness World Record for what was then the longest gap between television appearances as the same character in the same show. Actress Cora Sue Collins died April 27, 2025, at her home in Beverly Hills, California. She died of complications from a stroke at the age of 98. She was a child actor of the 1930s and 40s who co-starred in such films as Anna Karenina, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, and Treasure Island. Collins is being remembered as one of the last actors to have worked with classic stars like Greta Garbo and Bette Davis. Athlete Tom Brown died April 23, 2025, at the age of 84. He played for the Green Bay Packers when the powerhouse team, led by coach Vince Lombardi, won the first 2 Super Bowls. Brown is also being remembered for playing Major League Baseball for the Washington Senators before his NFL career. Musician and songwriter Mike Peters died April 29, 2025, after fighting chronic lymphocytic leukemia at the age of 66. He was the frontman for The Alarm, known for singles like Sold Me Down the River and 68 Guns. Peters is being remembered for his dedicated work as an advocate for cancer patients during his own 30-year fight with cancer. He was honored as a member of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire for his efforts. Actress Priscilla Pointer died April 28, 2025 in Ridgefield, Connecticut at the age of 100. She stood out in movies like Carrie and Blue Velvet, as well as in her recurring role on Dallas as Rebecca Barnes Wentworth. Pointer is also being remembered as the mother of actress Amy Irving, with whom she appeared in Carrie, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, and other films. Singer and pianist Andy Bay died April 26, 2025 in Englewood, New Jersey. He died of natural causes at the age of 85. His career as a jazz musician included award-winning solo work as well as collaborations with greats like Max Roach and Horace Silver. Bay is being remembered for his ability to switch up tones, styles, and approaches with ease as he sang classics from the Jazz Songbook. Rodeo cowboy Roy Cooper died April 29, 2025 at his home in Decatur, Texas. He died in a house fire at the age of 69. He was a world champion rodeo legend who was inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. Cooper is being remembered by his nickname, Super Looper, earned for his skill in calf roping. Singer-songwriter Jill Sobule died May 1, 2025 in Woodbury, Minnesota, outside of Minneapolis-St. Paul. She died in a house fire at the age of 66. Her 1995 song, I Kissed a Girl, was a hugely influential top 20 hit. Her quirky but heartfelt body of music over the course of 3 decades included such fan favorites as Bitter, Karen by Night, and Resistance Song. Sobule is being remembered for her witty and powerful lyrics, her recent autobiographical musical titled F 7th Grade, and her collaborations with such artists as Warren Zevon and the Go-Go's. "11 people were killed and dozens more were injured on April 26, 2025, when a vehicle was driven into a crowd at a cultural festival in Vancouver, British Columbia. Here at Legacy, we also get to see all the incredible tribute stories published every day in memory of people you've never heard of before, but whose lives are so worth remembering. This week, those people include an award-winning podcast producer who rode horses, snorkeled with sharks, and loved the redwood forests, a U.S. Air Force veteran who went on to work for 3 decades in the cowboy hat business, a distinguished Army colonel whose assignments spanned the globe from Vietnam to his command of the Yuma Proving Grounds in Arizona, and a dedicated fundraiser who helped numerous charities around Boca Raton, Florida. At Legacy.com, any family can publish an obituary in honor of a loved one's memory, online and in local newspapers everywhere. Just visit Legacy.com and select your local community. This month in the United States is Memorial Day. In honor of America's veterans, we at Legacy salute our charity partner, the Doughboy Foundation, dedicated to honoring the memory of those who served in World War I. Every day, without fail, a bugle honors those brave Americans by playing taps at the National World War I Memorial in Washington, D.C. You can personally dedicate that bugle call in the name of a veteran you love by visiting doughboy.org. That's DOUGHBOY.org. Also, any of our viewers can help support the Doughboy Foundation with a charitable donation of any size. Just visit doughboy.org to donate. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags in Kentucky have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Army Air Force First Lieutenant Joe A. DeJarnette, who was killed when his plane was shot down in Germany during World War II. His remains were recently identified and returned home for burial. Flags in Florida have been lowered to honor the memory of all of the fallen officers from around the state who have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Flags in Illinois have been lowered in honor and remembrance of the students' lives lost in Chatham, Illinois on April 28, 2025. Flags in Illinois have also been lowered to honor the memory of Chicago Fire Department Captain David Meyer, who died in the line of duty. Flags in Virginia have been lowered in honor of Fentanyl Awareness Day. Flags in New York have been lowered to honor the memory of State Police retired investigator Thomas K. Herrick, who died from an illness stemming from his assignment in and around the World Trade Center site following the terrorist attack on September 11, 2001. In addition to featuring current deaths in the news, Legacy.com also honors the lives and legacies of notable people who died in the past. Here are some of this week's anniversaries. 10 years ago this week, singer and songwriter Ben E. King died at the age of 76. He rose to R&B stardom with The Drifters, then had solo hits like Stand By Me and Spanish Harlem. 15 years ago this week, actress Lynn Redgrave died at the age of 67. She was Oscar nominated for her performances in Georgie Girl and Gods and Monsters. 25 years ago this week, actor and bodybuilder Steve Reeves died at the age of 74. After being crowned Mr. America, Mr. World, and Mr. Universe, he starred in such movies as Hercules. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. Follow Legacy.com on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.